Hello! So today we're going to look at a bunch of stuff that I've made with the LE press. Here it is up close, so you can get like a better look at it. It's really straightforward, bunch of metal plates. We'll get into how to build one and all the intricacies like at another time, but you can kind of see the parts, springs. There's lots of different springs to use, different bolts, kind of depends on which one that you build, and a lot of that is pretty dependent on the springs. This one has some conduit piping here to protect the spring from me clamping it all the way down. There's two things you don't want to do with springs. You don't want to, clamp them under pressure for a long period of time, and you don't want to expose them to too much heat. Well, we do both of those. So you need to, springs are one of the biggest concern. But again, we'll get into that some other time. Let's throw that to the side. So first let me show you some stuff that I showed you last time. Here's some of that gridded plastic. You see, this is all recycled plastic. None of it's perfect. You can make it very perfect and very pretty, though. You can remove the dirt and whatnot, but that's not really like a concern of mine. I use kind of dirty plastic and hapdash methods, and I get pretty good results. But yeah, I'm really happy with stuff like this. Really, really thin. I'm not going to snap it, but like I said, these just kind of snap apart really quickly. And what's great is you saw the washers. You can dial the thickness that you want by just adding more washers. And so if you had a mold that was like scoring it, you could make this thicker so it would be more rigid, but still have those scores in it. So yeah, so you got a lot of control. We'll explore that. Here's that one that was made entirely out of grocery bags. This red here, I believe, is from like a dollar store. This gray and blue is from Walmart. This was all in one big ice cream tub, and it's a little bit more flexible in the corner. But yeah, it's mostly grocery. Oh, there we go. They got a lot of blue there. Don't remember what that's from. But yeah. Get a lot of really beautiful abstract stuff. You think resin was great. This is really fun to get into. Oh, that brown is from Kroger. Kroger bags. See what else we got here. Oh, yeah, this was what one of those spools looks like up close. Again, this used to be a filament spool. Got it flattened down. Has a really great texture too. I love the texture that you get. And again, you see, there's pitting and there are voids in there. This is not a perfect material, but that's not what we're going for. This is still incredibly usable. So if you're going for super pretty, you can still do that, but it's a lot of effort. This is really more of just getting something out of trash, and I think that's pretty good. Pretty good for something that was completely useless otherwise. So here's something new. Somebody asked about dice trays. Oh, there you go. I use this one as a morning box. I mean, really anything. But this was all Kroger bags smashed flat into a disc, like this one. So I have like a flat disc. This one is came out a little curved and a little small, so I don't really use it. But I throw it on the CNC machine, and I cut a 45-degree groove in a big hashtag. And then I fold up the sides, and I remelted it all together, and I made this. And what's funny is this is actually about one grocery trip. Big grocery trip, you get about 40 to 60 bags maybe. That usually goes into one of these discs like this. It depends, but it is kind of funny. I would go get some groceries and then smash it down and make material off of one trip. It's a lot of fun. This one is a bunch of junk plastic. I think a lot of remnants and whatnot. Mostly milk jugs, I believe. It's not perfect. Oh, I need to remelt that. But yeah, those are fun. And so I said it was CNCable. Oh, I'm really proud of this. Love it. So yeah, Texas, again, this is all grocery bags, all that same material. Now, you'll see, can we get the finish in there? It's actually not very good. The finish is pretty terrible. The bit, I haven't quite figured it out. There's a learning curve, and then I think I hit it with a heat gun, and that made it worse. Grocery bags are very fibrous, and so it didn't work out well. Maybe I could sand it down, but I don't really like doing that. It's fine. I'm just really happy with it. But yeah, this nice little candy dish or whatever. Solid grocery bags. Some other stuff. Neat little phone stand. That was off the same cut. Works pretty well. So you can see, it's a very cuttable machine. I think I cut this on a scroll saw. I don't know what that was, but showing off there. It's a very workable material. People that work with HDPE, because you can use woodworking tools. You can use woodworking tools in order to like mess with them. This was that that mold I was talking about. The plastic wood. Now this one ended up a little too thick, but I can still work with it or remelt it. Who knows? This, I was really happy with this. I think this was actually another filament spool. It was a gray one. So this is an HDPE. It's a tougher plastic, a little less useful, but yeah. Alright, so that's a lot of the big stuff. Oh yeah, so here's a gridded box. It's kind of empty and falling apart, but you can see I was trying to go for some D&D terrain. My hope is to make it really, really easy to build things. And before we move on from the big stuff, I forgot about this. My take on a Wormwood Hexy Time game tile. I don't know if the sizing's correct, and again, I had a CNC mess up, so it's cut really bad, and the finish that you get on cuts is really bad. I'm gonna have to find a way to melt and re-iron it, or just not bother. I don't really like working with grocery bags. It's a difficult material. It's a lot easier when you leave it alone and kind of cut it as is. But carving into it in CNC gives you pretty bad results. Grocery bags are kind of awful, but we can do something with them. So we're getting somewhere. Good stuff. So here's just a whole stack of different plastics I've done over the years, just small ones. See this shimmer? I'll point that out in a lot of these. This is from a shampoo bottle. Shampoo bottles have a lot of additives like glimmers and shimmers that make them really, really interesting. So I love shampoo bottles. Another grocery bag. There's that 99-cent store. You can still see the wording sometimes. There you go. I think you can really see the shimmer on this one. You'll see it makes some of the jewelry really interesting. Here's some experiments. I was trying to press cloth into the plastic, and you can see it's in there. It's fully bonded. Not really sure what use this could have other than maybe a nice tactile bottom for some of these trays and things. But it does kind of stick. It really bonds in there. Yeah. And more grocery bags. Crazy colors. More shampoo bottles. Pokeball. Crazy tie-dye colors. Oh, this speckling is really, really interesting. You get like some speckling sometimes. Those are certain labels on laundry detergent bottles. Laundry detergent bottles, some of the labels peel off. We'll get into labels like some other time. But some of them can't really be removed. But when they melt and move, they break up into little pieces. So you can get like some really interesting effects. Yeah, and all of these were done with like my older presses, my really small ones. You can see like this isn't really big. So you can build the big one, but you can also do this recycling with the small one. I like to kind of mix up patterns, and then I'll cut these into rows and make jewelry out of it. You'll see that in a bit. This is about 1 milk jug. It's just kind of funny to look at. I believe this is 1 milk jug. I think I melted into a ball and then flattened into a perfect circle. It's just interesting to see how much plastic something would be. And And just another shiny one. Oh, so these actually just came out of the oven today. So let's do a closer up demolding. I believe this is Pla Plastic. So again, these are polymer clay molds. Wow. Oh, it's all black. Darn. This one's got some really good color in it, though. Like, PLA, 3D printing plastic, is really brittle and kind of dangerous sometimes. It's very sharp and hard and brittle sometimes. So you do need some caution. And again, I'm still learning it. Let's see what we get here. Ooh, dang. Getting a lot of bubbles. Temperature is really difficult to figure out on PLA. It melts at such a low temperature, I get a lot of boiling. But who knows, maybe that'll add to the aesthetic. Ah, a lot of black. No color mixed in there. Ooh, bad one. But yeah, these pretty simple molds. I've been meaning to pour some silicone in the back of here to make them sturdy, so I get my shapes a little bit better when they come out. And sometimes you get stuff on the edge. But, oh, this is a gem mold, and this is a bezel mold, and you'll see like how I use this to make like my jewelry. See, here's a whole bunch of bezels. I think this one, was this one stiffened up? No, it was not. But yeah, some crazy colors going on there. You kind of have to embrace the imperfections. You can do this and get some really great results. I'll show you some of those. But more often than not, you're kind of embracing, it's not perfect. But again, we're getting somewhere. We're making something out of nothing. And you can always remelt it and try again. So here's a bunch of little stuff that I've made. So using those bezels, I like to make like lots of little game tokens. These from Magic the Gathering. Just kind of hole punch them out from ad cards. They're not even like really from cards. Kind of made some tokens. Just like with the cloth, I was pressing just printed paper into the plastic, and you can see I can make hard tokens. There's a Magic the Gathering card pressed into plastic. Yes, I did put it upside down, but no, it was a damaged cards anyway. It was a lot nicer. It actually, when I first did it, it kind of ironed the card flat again. It was wrinkled, so but now it's all beat up and old. You know, I've made little tools. Oh, this is really interesting. So I was experimenting with wire. These were kind of failures, but I hang on to them. So you can see that I just shaped the wire into like a random shape, and then I pressed it in the mold until the plastic matched up with the wire, and it basically cut out a shape. It's not the best way of doing things, but it can be, I think, for someone, if you build like a cheap mold, a really easy way of making a pretty complex shape. Again, not a perfect method, just something I tried. Get rid of that. Oh, I forgot with these little tokens. You'll notice that these ones are pretty dull. That's because the paper that I put in them, I added another layer of plastic. I think I tried using clear plastic, but it ended up, it looks very orange. But I melted it again, and that's sealed in there. That's like totally waterproof. So the colors don't look good, but that's pretty permanent. So I'm trying a lot of things. Here we're showing off some things with like a ton of detail. Hope I'm not umming and awing too much. You can see that you can get a really immense amount of detail. I really think this is comparable to injection molding. Like I've made injection molding like $15. It's a lot of fun. It's great. So this was made from a leather stamp. I don't have the leather stamp. I don't have a lot of my things here, but I had a little three-dimensional leather stamp, and I think these were made with a couple of different methods. I used them to make kind of charms and stuff. but with extra plastic, I don't really do this anymore, but with some extra molten plastic that hadn't hardened yet, coming out of the mold, I kind of scoop it up real quick and then smash it in a press. Or I'm sorry, an arbor press, different kind of press, but just like leatherworking, I would smash it down and kind of make these little like hard charms. So yeah, with just a leather press, you can start making little tokens and things, and even an actual little gear. So I don't have the big coin. So this was a coin, and this is a copy of that same coin with milk jug. Here's a bigger coin. It's a better one. I don't have the original, but these are copies. I made a mold. So you're starting to see that like you can start producing your own objects for as cheap as $15. This is really well. Okay, you would need to buy the molding stuff, and again, this is a shampoo bottle, so you can see hopefully you can see like how glittery and beautiful that is. But yeah, you can start producing your own stuff. I have something better than this, but you're probably noticing I'm very obsessed with chainmail. Like I was making these rings because of chainmail, although this one was probably destined to be an earring. I make really big earrings sometimes. But I was trying to get into making scale mail. Some of these are really gorgeous. And so can you imagine somebody wearing like a completely plastic, lightweight, waterproof tie-dye scale mail? Oh my God. Oh man. It's really, really cool. So this is fun. These are the exact same thing. I stacked 2 stacks of Legos. This is what it did look like, and then this is what it looks like after. This is before and after. These were the exact same Legos, and then they were smashed super flat. So, and then this was a color test that I did once. You notice that these ones are a little muddled, but this one's a lot cleaner. And I was testing different thicknesses and whatnot, but the colors can be really controllable. It takes a lot of work, but with effort, there's a lot you can do here. And we'll be exploring all of that. Got some more of those crazy tie-dye colors. I mean, you can see how easy it is to start making like charms and interesting necklaces and things. And speaking of, we have some here. I have tons. Like I actually have tons that I have made. It's so tactile. It's like messing with treasure. Ah, my treasure. And then here are those bezels. Ah, it's like doubloons. Oh, it's so much fun. But here, I've pulled out some really nice choice ones, some really pretty ones here to look at. Some of my favorites. Now, the prettiest stuff I've actually sold as jewelry. These are unfinished pieces. I'll have some finished pieces in a second. You can just see how much variety and stuff that you can make. It's not as glittery and clear and pretty as a resin hobby, but once you get into this, it's just so addictive. Really easy to make. Oh, these were really popular. I mixed some pink, some shimmering pink from a shampoo bottle and some purple, and these were the remnants because that whole set just like sold first thing. This is something to talk about. Where's the trivet? So if you don't have silicone molds, you can actually also use trivets. Here they are. Trivet's like a hot pad for like a pot. I make these in silicone, and this works. This was actually the first time that I realized that my press could work with silicone. I actually freaked out when I first pulled this out of the oven and it worked, and I saw that the detail was perfect. I was expecting this to smash because it's kind of double-sided. I didn't really think it would hold up, but it did hold up, and I I screamed like Frankenstein, or Dr. Frankenstein. I was genuinely like, it worked! I had to be calmed down. But yeah. But yeah, there we go. Ooh, grocery bag diamonds. Really pretty. Anyway, moving on. Oh, here is some more finished jewelry. Using a new technique. Now this doesn't even actually use my press. This is just using a TC press. This uses my press. There we go. Really cool tie-dye shapes. So this uses another method but these are also from grocery bags. Here, you see, this is a Taco Cabana bag, but it's been made stiffer and can still be cut with scissors, though. I think this is from like a donut shop. So I'm really excited about those. I found that in making jewelry, I was trying to go for a lot of this abstract stuff, so people couldn't recognize what it came from, but I found out a lot of people were actually very interested in kind of seeing the remnants of what it came from. Ooh. Lots of these. Any different? I think it's more of the same. And they can be hole punched, especially these thinner ones. So I'm sure once I get those out to where people can see them. I'm kind of a bad salesman. These are just grocery bags. Yeah. So yeah, you can make your own jewelry. This is a 3D printed plastic. Again, more of the same, but a different plastic. Again, I'm still figuring out, getting a lot of them holes and bad muddled colors. But everybody wonders, well, what do I do with 3D printing plastic? Well, there's a lot you can do. And again, with different silicone molds, you don't just have to make jewelry. We could be making useful objects. This is strong, sturdy, and pretty dimensionally accurate. Let me find a nice one here. So I actually handed one of these to someone, and because this is an injection mold, he'd actually worked with plastic, and he knew. I kind of told him my whole method, but he looked at it and he's like commenting, "Oh wow, it is really good." Like, wait, how did you make this? Because he couldn't find the sprue hole. Anybody who works with plastic, like, you would expect to see it looks injection molded. That's what you would expect. And he would looked really closely, trying to find where the sprue would be, where the plastic goes in. But it wasn't there, because it doesn't exist. Oh, that's right, I was going to talk about this. So you can't really glue this plastic, or maybe. I may have found a glue that works, but I haven't tested it yet. And a lot of people ask me, well, why can't you just glue them together? Like, well, this is the plastic we use to hold our glue. People are like, oh, why can't you just paint it? Because this is the plastic we use to hold our paint. So it makes it very useful, but it's kind of difficult. That's why I have to do all this color mixing from the plastic itself. But I'll show this later. There is a way to sort of plastic rivet. I've come up with a pretty good method of kind of stapling plastic to itself. Yeah. So this was a big mold, plastic horseshoe. How about that? Plastic horseshoes. Again, I had a lot of really nice ones, and I sold them all. And I made this mold myself. Didn't last very long. I eventually broke it. And again, these are like the lesser, prettier ones that are kind of left over. But as you can see, like, you can start producing your own items and objects with my press. So. Ooh. This one's very, very pretty. Okay, oh yeah, here's a good one. So actually, this just came out today. This is Pla Plastic, so this is 3D printed plastic. And oh, here's the original shell. So I made a mold, and this is not very good silicone, but it is still working. It's ripped a little bit, but the PLA lets it melt at a lower temperature, so I don't have to clamp it down as hard. So I'll probably start moving it over to that. But these are HDPE. This is grocery bags. Some milk jug and laundry detergent bottle there. There's a shampoo bottle. Big mix. So you can see all of the variety. Oh, a shark tooth, a real shark tooth that I made a mold of and copied. Again, that one broke. It broke on this one, so this one's really messed up. And what's fun about the grocery bags on these ones is they actually look very natural. This looks like a real shell, but nope. Oh yeah, you can see some wording right there. Oh, love this one. Sometimes I leave the border on just because the look looks really nice. Is that everything? Yeah. I think that's all the cool stuff. Oh, this little thing. They make these really thin molds, and I pulled this out because I just wanted to show the amazing level of detail. Now, there's a lot of people out there who already recycled HDPE, and a lot of people do a lot of really awesome stuff, but nobody's ever really, I've never really seen anybody talk about how there's different types of HDPE. Again, there's other plastics that you can melt, the PLA and whatnot, but I focus a lot, I focus a lot on HDPE. And something that people don't talk about is that there's different viscosities. I have seen it mentioned in comment sections in other people's videos, but the people in the videos haven't really discussed the differences between grocery bag material and Home Depot buckets. Like, where's some Home Depot? So all of these little bezels that I make lots of, this is actually a very loose melting plastic. It goes a lot more liquidy. This is Home Depot bucket. I believe this blue here is Pepsi crate, or it's some sort of soda crate. White is going to be like a white paint bucket. If you'll notice, those break and snap, whereas like a grocery bag would kind of stretch and tear. There's different additives and there's different viscosities or levels of these plastics. So these melt really well, and I get really good results with these molds. This again is a really loose plastic, but this would be really difficult to do with grocery bag material. That's actually part of the reason why I broke my mold, was I needed a lot of heat, time, and pressure in order to make this. And do I have one that I can rip? I do. This is probably too thick to really show what I'm talking about. Hang on, I got this. Okay. Alright, these are going to be way too thick. So, you saw, like with the PLA, how brittle and easy it is to snap. And it can actually be rather stiff and very sharp. This is kind of a midway between. But notice how it kind of snaps. That's milk jug material. Well, grocery bags, there we go. Notice it doesn't really snap. It stretches a lot. I don't know what they add to it, but it feels very, very fibery. That can be a great advantage, but you notice even after it's been melted solid, it sort of pulls apart. It doesn't really like to melt together. And this can be really difficult when you're trying to get a shape. That's why I get such a bad finish. And cutting out shapes from grocery bag material is really difficult. Do I have like a bad example? Yeah, some of these I've never really cut out just because it's too difficult. I'll probably end up remelting these into something else. But they don't really snap out. So when I said earlier, oh, look how easy it is to snap these parts out of the mold. Well, yeah, for some plastics. Again, this is 3D printing plastic, but with HDPE, there's kind of 3 tiers. I'll go into way more detail later, but there's really loose versions. There's kind of medium versions like milk jugs, and then there's looser versions like paint buckets and whatnot that melt way better. So, and they're all useful for different things. The grocery bag does have its uses. But I'll get more into that another time. When guess where I'm from. All right, I think that's everything. I'm stalling at this point, or yammering, I guess. Have a good day. And recycling's a lie.